everyone. We are live at the Game Developers Conference here in San Francisco. A huge convention, the likes of which we haven't seen since 2019. There was indeed a smaller Game Developers Conference last year. This year is much more like what we used to see. I'm going to go ahead and share this from my own Facebook page, and I hope that you all will be willing to do the same. We'd like to get a lot of interaction going on this feed because, after all, games are an interactive medium, and this is an interactive live stream. So I'm going to bring up the chat here, and I'm also going to come out in front of the camera and say hello to you. Because what we're going to do is a completely unscripted live stream. We're going to start over here at this end of the convention hall, and we're going to move all the way over here to this end of the convention hall. As you can see, it's packed with people. Friday is often a very crowded day for the GDC convention hall, and the reason is they sell a Friday-only exhibits pass, and they sell it for less than the exhibits pass for the rest of the week. The people who get that exhibits pass in many cases are looking to get into the industry. There are actually lines that we'll see over there at some of the major companies' booths, major companies that weren't here last year, where they're actually looking at art portfolios and taking job applications. And so if you're looking to apply for a job straight out of school, there's a good chance you got that Friday-only exhibits pass, and you're here today along with the thousands upon thousands of people, at least 24,000 people who've been attending this conference over the course of the week. So I'm going to get out from in front of the camera, and we're going to start going to comb our way to the other, and as we walk around the convention hall, please, if there's something you want to see, if there's a question you want to ask, I am looking at the chat, and I will answer your questions as best I possibly can. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to this end. We are in Moscone South, the South Convention Hall, underground here in the heart of San Francisco. This is the Skills booth. Skills is a skill-based betting platform for games. They've been here for a couple of years. And over here next to the Skills booth is a fan-favorite exhibit called Arcade Play that is organized by the Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment in Oakland, MADE for short. I'll show you their logo here. If we, the logo, there's the logo right there, the Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment. And these are the games of our forefathers, as it were. The everything from N64 all the way back down to the Atari and the Commodore 64, which is a different kind of 64. 64K of RAM, not 64 bits. And as you can see, this is kind of an exhibit of where the history of video games came from. It's kind of an homage, but also an inspiration. You can see people here taking a picture of the Super Nintendo controller with iPhones, things that didn't exist back when the Super Nintendo was in our living rooms. What do you think?
So far, so good.
What are you playing on this?
It's all coming back.
It's all coming back? Are these the games from your childhood?
Yeah, for sure. It was the golden age.
The golden age. Have games gotten better since then, or just different?
I think our expectations have gone up a little bit. This seemed to be, more than enough to entertain us back in the day. We thought these graphics looked like real life. So, I do think, though, that technology has really pushed new barriers, and games are much more immersive now.
So what are we playing here?
So this is Super Mario World. It's on the Super Nintendo. So the Super Nintendo came out in the mid-90s, I believe, and see if the muscle memory comes back.
It is a muscle memory type game. A lot of these Mario games, right?
Yes.
All right, let's take one look here at the Super Nintendo controller back when 16-bit games were revolutionary. And there's
Feels
Mario.
Good.
Right, it does feel good, right?
They're smaller than I remember, but maybe my hands got bigger.
I remember back when the Sega Genesis controller was critiqued for being too large for tiny hands.
I remember that.
It was a big point of contention, making controllers bigger.
I think I've forgotten how to play.
Well, we'll leave you to it.
I might have to take this home.
Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the epitome of 90s gaming. Here at GDC Arcade Play, an ode to the nostalgia and the history of video games by the Oakland Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment. So as we continue our way across the floor here, we're going to see some booths that weren't here in the past. Or weren't here, I would say, last year. The last full-sized GDC, organizers will tell you, was in 2019. At that point, there were 27,000 people attending the conference. It was the biggest GDC ever. This year, they have already announced that there would be 24,000 people, but possibly more. And one of the things we haven't seen since 2019 is this sort of thing. These people, you know, 2019 we were still unaware that there was a pandemic about to hit us, and then last year we were still being careful because of that pandemic. But this year we can once again go back to these situations where you have people crowded together on a convention floor watching live demonstrations of game building tools in action. And in this case, it's Epic Games. Epic Games, of course, the publisher of the hugely popular game Fortnite, also the maker of Unreal Engine, which is a tool that is used to build games. And that is what this convention hall stage is all about. So this presenter here is demonstrating some of the newest capabilities of Unreal Engine that were announced on Wednesday at a keynote at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts Theater, the same place that the original iPad was unveiled, by the way. San Francisco is steeped in tech history after all. And as you can see, it's a pretty packed house here at this booth, as it often is at the Unreal Engine booth. People feel like they can learn things here a lot quicker than by poring over pages and pages of documentation or trying to watch YouTube videos. You can see there's a lot of smaller exhibits within this booth. It's really a truly palatial booth with a lot of very dramatic lighting, as you can see. And each of the new things that was announced sort of has its own station within this booth. It's a little city. It's actually a two-story booth, if you can believe that. One of the things that was announced was improvements to MetaHuman, which is this very photorealistic human character generation software. And you can even see the muscles moving under the skin. We're getting closer and closer to believable humans rendered in real time that keep us far and far out of the uncanny valley. The Silicon Valley, not the uncanny valley. That's where we want to be. And then here, this is an interesting development that we're only beginning to realize the impact of. They've released a version of the Unreal Editor specifically for Fortnite. Fortnite, of course, a hugely popular game. It's a game with wide open worlds, and now they're going to allow you to design and build games that can be played within Fortnite, trying to sort of make Fortnite the next big metaverse where other people can build games that live within Fortnite. And they promise you'll be able to take your game with you and publish it elsewhere. They're not going to keep it in a walled garden. They say that would be counter to the sort of open metaverse that they're trying to create. So that is the Epic Games booth here at the Game Developers Conference. Just a little more look at the scope of GDC. Unity, of course, the main competitor to Unreal Engine, and Unity was here last year. That's a game engine that's favored in part by indie developers just because of its history. And they actually have a lot of indie games on display in their booth. This really is a conference for game developers more than game fans, and so you'll see that the biggest booths at this conference aren't necessarily the game publishers, but actually the game publishing tools and the game creation tools, because that's the audience that this conference is catering to. And you can see another workshop in here. We've got some armchairs and we've got some couches, a very cozy, homey environment, creating little worlds within the convention hall, just the way game designers create worlds within their games.
Just do a quick reset, no worries. Oh, you are all good.
Having people play through their games live here on the convention floor. Hopefully, those games won't crash. There's also this that happens here, face-to-face tech support. Something that a lot of folks who are at this conference this year actually got into game development during the pandemic. And so this is, in some cases, their first opportunity to get tech support face-to-face rather than having to get it online. And we all know how hit or miss getting tech support online can be. And so a lot of folks feel like they can learn better in person, and they're just happy to be here. Of course, like I said, there was a Game Developers Conference last year. It was much smaller. This year, all the big players are here, including Meta, of course, the parent company of Facebook, the company behind line of headsets, and they are demoing some of their newest games in these booths here. They have a mixed reality fencing prototype. I don't know if we can see some people fencing in here. Looks like we're waiting. There's a long line of people waiting. Somebody's got a QR code on their back. You got a QR code on your back. I'm assuming that's for your game. You have a QR code on your back. I'm assuming that's for your game.
Survey.
A survey.
Yeah.
What are you surveying people about?
The metaverse. I'm trying to figure out some themes about what people believe in the metaverse and take that, turn into a research instrument for future interviews I'm going to do about it.
So what are you waiting in line to demo right now?
I am going to do the fencing.
The fencing. So have you seen what this involves? Is there a sword involved?
I've seen a little bit. I was at a Meta's panel on Wednesday. It looks pretty interesting. It looks like they're just combining mixed reality with a fencing game. So I think, from what I'm understanding, is you should be able to see the rest of the room through the pass-through feature on the Meta Quest Pro. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what that's like.
So make sure that you don't run into any walls while you're trying to score points off your opponent.
Yeah.
Are you have any experience with fencing, or will this be your first?
This will be my first time.
Fantastic.
So it's pretty exciting.
So you're going to be ready to actually go into a competitive fencing league after this, right?
Oh, 100%. You know it.
What's exciting to you about having the big brands like Meta and PlayStation here at GDC for the first time in a while?
Well, I think it's just pretty much seeing what they're developing, what they're having going for you. Right now, Meta is like really focusing on pushing out more mixed reality. And I'm really interested to see where that's going to go, because it's not just developing a video game in a virtual reality platform. We're developing games and things to do that interact with our actual world. It's just a new dimension to everything.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We can take a look at the line here to try out virtual fencing at Meta's booth here at the Game Developers Conference. First time in a number of years that Meta has had this sort of setup at the Game Developers Conference. And we can see it's a fairly large booth right here at the entrance to the Moscone South Convention Hall. We'll continue down this way because one of the other companies that we'll see in just a moment is the Sony PlayStation booth with that giant tower. That's the giant tower that we see off in the distance there, the Sony PlayStation booth. And that's one of the places where yesterday I saw a line of people lined up to apply for jobs there. A lot of them holding iPads that presumably contained their art and design portfolios. So this is the giant PlayStation tower. And as you can see, there are people playing some of the latest PlayStation games at the base of that tower. What are you playing?
Space for the Unbound.
And how is it?
It's different than the usual games I play, but it's certainly fun. It's in a different way.
So what is it? It looks almost a little bit retro in its graphic style.
Correct.
And that's different from the games I'm assuming you usually play things that exist in 3D space.
For the most part, yeah. There's another game that's on PC that's coming out soon, and I forgot the name of, but yeah. I do like old school retro games too, but I'm talking more about how it's more of a story-based compared to me usually going for more combat and exciting ones.
So do you get to try out games that you might not honestly try out at home because you're here at the conference?
Yes.
And what is it like to have big brands like Sony and Meta showing off their latest games here?
It is certainly very interesting, and it's a very good opportunity both to get to play the games, but it's also a good place to like network and get to like actually talk to the people face to face, as opposed to what you would usually do, which is go on like LinkedIn or try to find them elsewhere online through other websites.
It's just a lot easier to start a conversation.
Yes, a lot easier.
And what kinds of conversations are you looking to have, or have you already had here?
Well, I was able to talk to a voice actor and a composer from Sony. Well, the voice actor worked with Sony a lot, and so did the composer. And I've also managed to talk with the talent acquisition here at the Sony brand twice and send in an application to them.
So what are you applying for?
Well, one of them was just a general application to all of Sony, with main focus being level and narrative design, but with also going for quality assurance, because that is the best way to get your foot in the door at these companies, because it's a relatively low skill kind of thing compared to like all the other thing, and it's also relatively easy for the companies to like train you to do those things if you don't know how to do it yet.
So if you want to make video games, test video games, that's the foot in the door.
Pretty much, yeah. Quality assurance. It is still a lot of work because you are basically, it's not really playing video games with quality assurance. Quality assurance is running into the same wall 20 or 30 different times to like, can I clip through it? What angle do I go through to clip through it? How often can I make that clip through it? And then what exactly did I do before I clipped through it that might have caused me to clip through it, for just an example.
So you have to really understand the underpinnings of the software.
Correct, because when your quality assurance is half testing, and then it's also half going to going on like Slack or whatever software that you use to talk with people to like tell them the bugs and like describe the bug in a way that they'd be able to actually fix it.
Fantastic, that makes sense, and I wish you the best of luck. We're going to take a look at this game that you're playing here, A Space for the Unbound, and then we're going to go look at the line for the talent acquisition booth. Thank you very much. So this is we're going to walk around the other side of the Sony PlayStation booth. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. We'll try to address them. We'll be live streaming for a little while here. So here's some folks having a conversation. Indie support. And this is a popular line. Are you lined up for support right now?
Yeah, I'm lined up for the talent acquisition.
You're lined up for talent acquisition. What is it? What do you do? What kind of work are you
I am
hoping to get?
a student studying gameplay programming and technical design.
Awesome. And what kind of job are you hoping to land?
I'm hoping to land a gameplay programming job or a technical design job, so yeah.
Fantastic. What school are you at?
I'm at DigiPen Institute of Technology.
Where?
DigiPen Institute of Technology.
And awesome. And are you here just today, or have you been here all week?
I've been here all week.
What's it been like?
You know, it's been great. This is my first GDC. I'm learning so much.
There are a lot of people here for the first time.
Yes. You know, you guys want to grow the convention. It keeps growing every year.
What is it that you've learned that you weren't expecting to learn having been here for the first time?
Well, you know, I learned a lot about what the industry is like, what's in it and what's it about, and what's available.
Anything that surprised you?
A couple things, but mostly I'm just here for the ride and some more meeting all these great people.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, and best of luck to you. We're going to show you how long this line is, because it's all the way around the corner. What's up?
What's up?
You in the talent acquisition line?
I am.
What kind of talent are you hoping they'll want to acquire?
My talent? No, software engineering. Yeah.
Software engineering.
Yeah.
And what brings you here to stand in this line today?
PlayStation's awesome. You know, a lot of great titles worldwide. It gives the opportunity to change someone's life. You know, through storytelling. Yeah, that's what I want to help out with.
So, give me some of your interview answers. Warm up with me here.
Okay. I need. I'm a data object-oriented design-centric developer looking to strive and help grow along with the company. That's my elevator pitch. Another one would be like, why you want to do this? I already gave you some answers, but I personally went through a deep depression. Games helped me get through that. And my saying is, and I've heard this before, everyone has a favorite game, whether it's a small indie game or a big AAA game, and I want to be a part of that. Whether it's a passion project with an indie studio or a big AAA studio like PlayStation. And that's why I want to get into the
we talk about games as fun, but fun is a really important thing to our well-being.
Yes, fun is a really important thing. If you don't have fun, I mean, life is kind of boring or bad. I mean, hopefully everyone has some fun, but yeah, if I can give the opportunity to have someone else have fun while having fun while doing it, I mean, like, why not, you know?
Fantastic. Well, best of luck to you. Really appreciate you talking to me.
Thank you.
Take a look at the line here. Getting toward the back of the line.
Hello.
You here for talent acquisition?
Yes.
And what kind of talent are you hoping they'll want to acquire?
Probably programming, because I want to get into the game industry. So currently, right now, I'm in IT. I'm in the IT field, but I want to switch and go into programming. So I'm on my own. I'm learning Unity, C# and C++. So I'm hoping they'll have positions where you can learn and grow with the company.
Awesome. And did you come here specifically for that?
Yes.
Are you here just today or all week?
I just was here today.
You're a Friday pass holder.
Yeah.
And what do you think about what you see here today, walking in for the first time?
It's cool. There's a lot. It was a bit overwhelming, but it's really cool.
Very cool. And have you been to GDC before?
No, this is my first time.
When did you get interested in making games?
I've always been interested, but ever since I worked for a game studio for IT work for last year during the pandemic, or was it the year before? I saw how they worked, and I wanted to join and make the switch.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, and best of luck to you. We'll take a look at the talent acquisition line at the Sony PlayStation booth. And then we'll continue down here to the audio section. Yes, game audio is a thing. It's a big thing. They say that audio is half of video, and that doesn't change just because you're playing a game. There's even a game audio lounge that earlier this week had some instruments in it and people rocking out in a little impromptu jam session with those instruments. We'll see if they're doing it again today. If you have any questions or comments, drop those in the chat. I want to see what you guys are thinking. All right, there's evidence of music that was being played here. An instrument sitting on a couch, a keyboard. One of the features that was not here last year. The organizers said they were very excited to bring it back. Last year they were worried about touch and contamination, and this year they're a lot more worried about building community. They say it's a safer time, and they were happy that they could bring back the musicians' lounge and the game audio community. From the next blockbuster video game right here in this musician's lounge. You heard it here first, here in San Francisco at the Game Developers Conference. Yeah, encore. What do you guys think? Playing analog instruments here in the middle of this very digital conference.
Well, I think.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think it's really fun. Yeah, I think it's been a really successful experiment. We kind of brought these to see what would happen at the audio lounge, and it's been some of the best organic jamming all week. Where, I think these have melded pretty well together. The acoustic and digital.
Have you heard any music that you want to go home and workshop and build into a game in the future?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely interested to see what kind of crossover there is between the music industry and the video game industry. It's kind of
I mean, we're already seeing crossover between fashion and video games. We had no idea that was going to happen.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, in many ways, I feel like the video game industry is like the ultimate sort of multimedia form, and so it feels like it could be welcoming for everyone in a way.
And what is that instrument you were playing just there?
Yeah, so this is called Orba. This is
it's called a what now?
It's called Orba. Orba 2, actually. It's made by our company called Artifon, and it is basically a handheld synthesizer and looper. And it's got 4 instrument tracks on it. So there's a drum, that's what you saw me doing earlier. Bass, chords, and a lead.
Nice.
And then you can do live looping on the fly with it. So I'm just gonna make something up here. I'm gonna quantize it so it'll sound a little different than what I played.
It fixes your rhythm for you.
It does, yeah. It definitely does. The idea is that it's meant to be an instrument that's really accessible for the non-musician or the professional musician, and trying to strip out all of the intimidating factors that people run into with music theory and a piano can be intimidating if you don't know like.
And beyond that, if I want to go to a campfire, it's a lot easier to bring than my 88-key keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got it right. Yeah, very portable. I just throw it in my backpack. I have it with me like all the time, and it's great in a pinch.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We are in the Game Audio Community Musicians Lounge here on the GDC show floor where they're rocking out. And if you can believe this, we've traversed most of the first convention hall. There are 2 other halls left, and we're going to go take a look at those right now. We've been streaming for about 25 minutes, still haven't seen anybody make a request to me, but I'm happy to cater to those requests. And also, please, share this stream with your friends. Tell them to join, tell them to comment and ask questions. This is an interactive experience. We would like to hear from you, because otherwise it's just me talking to myself and all of the wonderful strangers that I am meeting here at GDC, strangers who can become friends, who are itching to become friends because many of them have waited for so long to attend this conference. So we're exiting out into what used to be the downstairs lobby, but after the massive remodeling project that hollowed out the area underneath Howard Street, this has become a 3rd exhibit hall here at the Moscone Center in San Francisco. It's the Central Hall. Although for some reason the booth numbers in the Central Hall start with the prefix P. Not sure what P stands for, but I'm sure there's a perfectly logical explanation for this, because the north is N and the south is S. So this is the Central Exhibit Hall. There's kind of an upstairs and a downstairs to it. And this is where you'll find a lot of the enabling technologies, both from the user end, devices that help you interact with games, and also from the creator end, devices that help you build and monetize games. And somewhere down here in the middle, there are a couple of devices I want to show you that make the VR experience more real for players. And those are kind of fun to look at if they're still here today. The convention hall, as you may know, opened on Wednesday. This is the 3rd day of the expo, and as we just discussed, this is the day of the Game Developers Conference where they sell a special discounted exhibits-only pass that is aimed at students and people looking to get into the industry for the first time. Of course, there are a lot of first-timers here attending the Game Developers Conference because so many people got into game development during the pandemic. I'm going to adjust the white balance here for the warmer color of lighting in this hall. It actually gets warmer the farther we get toward the North Hall. It's a gradual transition in light color. Not really sure why that is, but we're going to roll with it. So now we're on the sort of the lower end of the split level of the convention hall. We're walking north, by the way, for those of you who are keeping track. There's a fortune-telling booth here.
Seems like for you, this is a card trusting the insight within yourself.
There are a lot of these fun face-to-face interactions here that weren't at this conference in the past just because people were trying to keep their safe and respectful distance due to the ongoing pandemic. There's a lot of play testing being going on of both traditional and alternative control games in the North Hall, and we're absolutely going to go there in a few minutes. I want to see what we might be missing in this hall first. So we'll cruise a couple more aisles here in the Central Hall of the Moscone Center, where you can see, if we raise the camera up to get an overhead shot, you can see there are a lot of people here. If you're just joining us, we're at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, GDC 2023, the biggest conference by game developers for game developers, and the biggest one that we've had since 2019. 2019 was the biggest ever. 2020 was canceled due to the pandemic. 2022, the conference came back at a smaller format, and this year it is trying to get back to the way it was, with at least 24,000 people. This is one of the devices that I saw the other day. It's a rotating chair that makes the experience of playing VR more immersive. In this case, we're playing a shooter game, but it can be any VR game that is meant to be played in a large room if you don't have a room big enough to play it. As you can see here, the player has pedals to control forward, backward, and side-to-side movement, and the stool actually rotates to provide the player with that sensation of actually turning when he or she or they push the pedals.
Better than the treadmill. I tried some treadmills because I like playing with seated.
Yeah.
And it just feels smoother. Yeah. And the turn is not that great, but one thing is the move speed.
Yeah.
It's a bit too slow. Like if I'm in an actual combat like PvP game, it might be a bit slow. But if it's a PvE game, I think it's good.
It is because of motion sickness.
As you can see, a lot of playtesting and real-time feedback happening here. It's one of the most valuable things for developers to get feedback from other developers because the feedback tends to be very granular and very technical and spoken in exactly the right language for it to be helpful.
Yeah.
Can I talk to you about what this is?
I'm sorry, English is low level.
Should I talk to him instead?
Oh, developer.
Okay.
Kickstarter? How much? 899.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
No, let's not drop it.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell me about what this is for the live stream audience?
Sorry?
I just wanted you to describe what this device does.
It is a movement device and VR contents. Yeah. We can solve the motion sickness problem.
You solve the motion sickness problem.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. You're actually moving, but by moving, you get less motion sickness. How does that work?
Yeah. It's soft. It is soft.
Mm-hmm.
And it is soft. Sorry, I'm not great at English. Yeah.
That's okay because you know what? Your invention speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So you put the headset on and you sit down, and it's. Are you controlling the joystick a little bit with the feet?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you put the headset on, and you grab the gun controller.
사장님 이거 좀.
Yeah, this is why wireless VR is going to be very helpful. And there's the world that you're in projected on the screen behind you. And as you go to turn, you're using your feet, I see. So you actually rotate your feet to steer the stool. Bringing the movement of your body in line with the movement of the game, which the creators say solves the VR motion sickness problem. They told me earlier this device weighs about 50 pounds, costs about $800, and it's perfect for those San Francisco apartments where you don't really have room to move around because you just don't have a lot of space. Thank you so much for demoing this for me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We are VR game developer.
What's that?
From Japan.
From Japan. So somewhere else here, there's another device that is intended to make VR experiences more real. You've probably seen these before if you follow gaming technology. It's a haptic vest. But the people with the haptic vest also have another new innovation that goes along with that vest. And I want to see if they're still here today and figure out what booth they're in. So we're just going to worm our way through the aisles here at this. As you can see, a much larger expo than they had last year, a much larger expo than just about anything we've seen here at the Moscone Center in a little while. It's it's a business-to-business conference. It's a conference for developers, but it's also a conference about a really fun topic. So it just has that interesting mix of business and fun going on here at the Game Developers Conference here at the Moscone Center. Have not found the haptic people yet. But we will walk by the fortune teller again.
For why I'm here and what I've gone through.
Giving big data tarot readings there. I think they're giving some souvenirs away there as well. It's a lot of bribery happening. There's even some stuff happening upstairs. There's a robotic cat upstairs. If we have an opportunity to go back up there, we'll see if we can meet the robotic cat, who occasionally has to go back to his cat bed to charge. Of course. When they can make one that runs off of cat food, that will be truly an experience. I don't think we've cruised this aisle yet, but as you can see, the light's getting bluer for some reason. The light is just different colors in different corners of the Moscone Center. And I think these are the folks I was talking about right over here. So you may be able to see here that this player is wearing a vest, and that vest will thump you if you get hit, and it'll thump you in the spot where you get hit, which adds a layer of feedback to VR games that was otherwise missing. You can tell if you've gotten hit in the back or hit in the shoulder by feeling it.
It's a very niche market in itself to get into.
And here's the other thing that they've got now. They've taken that same technology and they've built it into a pair of gloves so that you can actually feel when your hand makes contact with an object in the virtual world. Of course, for sanitation reasons, we're wearing latex gloves underneath the haptic gloves. But if you look at those gloves, in the fingertips of the gloves, there are these tiny little discs, and those discs are haptic motors. And the haptic motors provide a thump or a vibration when your hand comes in contact with an object in the virtual world. Your hand's, of course, already being tracked by the hand tracking sensors in the VR headset. And so these take that already accurate hand tracking and add a layer of feedback to it.
Got it.
So that you can feel what you're picking up. I tried it yesterday. It does work. And now it does not stop your hand if it comes in contact with an object. Your hand will go through the object, but you will feel a thump and a scrape as you do it. So of course, the next hurdle for technology to cross is to figure out how to make your hand stop when it hits a solid surface. But until then, at least, we can tell your fingers that they have come into contact with something. And that is what the haptic gloves are all about. Along with that haptic vest, there it is, that tells you when something has hit you. Whether that be a laser beam from a battle droid or a coconut thrown by a monkey in a tree. So there's the haptic vest. The vest and the gloves together, I believe, are about another $800. So you pair those together with the rotating stool, now you're at $1,600 before the cost of your VR headset and your gaming PC to run them all. So as you can see, a really hardcore gaming setup can start to cost a lot of money when you invest in all of these technologies to make the gaming experience more immersive and more real. But we're about to go see a portion of the exhibit that is in much more early stages of research. We've sort of settled on the game controller as a standard thing. It has some sticks, and it has a D-pad, and it has some thumb triggers or some index finger triggers. Game controllers have all sort of evolved to look similar, but not the controllers in the alt control games. The alt control games are all based on purpose-built controllers specifically for the game that is being played, and some of them are really, really ridiculous in the best possible way. So we're going to go have a look at the alt control section, which seems to be, at least in terms of square footage, a smaller exhibition than last year. But there's good reason for that, and that is that last year some of these games had been waiting for 3 whole years to play test at all, because they couldn't be play tested remotely because they involve a purpose-built, a bespoke controller that is specifically for that game. So here we are entering the GDC Play area. This is the, if you're keeping track, this is the north hall of the Moscone Center. And here is the corner of the Alt Control exhibition. We'll zoom in and get a shot of that sign there. Of course, it's a play on words. It's a play on the Alt and Control keys on your computer keyboard, but it also stands for alternative control, which is any control that isn't a standard game controller, a mouse, or a computer keyboard. So one of the games that I enjoyed yesterday is this. It is a hang gliding game with controls that are suspiciously like an actual hang glider. Of course, you're not hang gliding yourself, you are controlling a paper airplane. And there it is, right there.
Let's restart it for you.
Gliding through the universe. As this player pulls on the left and right controls of that hang glider. You feel like you're flying yet?
Yeah.
They're restarting the game, right?
Yes.
All right. You ready for takeoff?
Oh yeah. Ready to go.
Steering it through that ring. Over the Canadian flag. No, into the flag. No! We dodged the flag.
Exactly. So that's why C# and U is popular.
And here is how our player is controlling that game. You can see there are some counterweights on those controls. Give them the proper amount of inertia.
Because apparently someone. Yes. So that also that affected like a lot of the tech industry, right? Especially. So they also. And also. You gotta recalibrate it. It's good to like pull it down to the middle and then go back down again. It's still just nice and easy though. Really? Okay, there we go. Yeah, because you notice you'll be like stuck up here and you're still trying to go down. Yeah, controller's a little. So yeah, like I'd say it doesn't really matter right now, but I'd say focus on Unity and if you think that really has your community, especially with not just only coding, but just all the other aspects of Unity. But that's what I would like. So yeah, 5-foot rope on either side is not like, hey, like we can do blueprints. Let's go.
Can I interrupt you for a second? I'm live streaming. This will only take a second. I just want you to explain your game and how it came to be to the live stream audience.
Yes, so over here we have paper gliders, and it actually came by a school project of ours right after something called Design Week, almost like a game jam, where we decided to actually create a new controller with paragliding movements.
So have you yourself ever paraglided?
Sorry?
Have you yourself ever paraglided?
I actually have not paraglided. I've actually just, all I've done is just watch a lot of videos and try to just reference about like how paraglider movement works and see how it like translates, how it could try to translate over that into a game.
So why do that with this full body control mechanism as opposed to a handheld controller or keyboard?
So for this challenge, we were actually just tasked to do a more non-generic controller, right? So this could have been just a regular gyro sensor controller, but we wanted to have the player be more immersed within our game. So we wanted the player to actually feel like they're almost like they're actually paragliding in a sense. Yeah.
And how does it feel? Do you feel like you're flying when you're playing this game?
Yeah, so I'd say it feels like we're flying, but from what I've heard with a lot of people, they said that like, yeah, this really feels like I'm using a paraglider right now. So that's pretty good to hear, and yeah, we just wanted to make the player feel really immersed with the gameplay and the controller movement.
Fantastic. Tell me the name of the game.
Yeah, so the game is called Paper Gliders, and the team right now is right over here. Oh.
Lucas Diab. So we're Team S213, and we're actually located in Toronto, Canada, and we're just Sheridan game design students.
I was waiting for the Canada connection because I saw the flag.
Yeah.
What is it like to be here today?
Really wonderful. I really love seeing all the design, all this different designs that everyone has created here today. Like over here, we actually see a toaster being used to play golf, which is like really insane actually. But yeah, no, it's really been a wonderful experience here, and just seeing everyone's innovation and all the different ideas that we all had within just this one challenge that we looked at.
A toaster to play golf. That I've got to see.
I know, yeah.
Is it over this way?
So the toaster game is right there. It's called Gilliam's Great Escape. I do recommend it. It's actually also another Sheridan game design team, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to go see how you play golf with a toaster. Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, Gilliam's Great Escape. I hear there's a toaster being used to play golf. Is this your experience, or whose problem is this?
So we created
It's you, all right.
Yeah. So me and my partner Marcus, and then we have a few other teammates that couldn't come with us. But it's called Gilliam's Great Escape. You essentially play golf with a toaster. So you use the dial on the front of the toaster to move, and then you pull down on the lever to charge the power bar and then shoot. And then, yeah, it was just really fun making it. We had to strip down my actual home toaster and replace all the circuitry in it.
What made you want to build a toaster into a video game controller?
Do you want to take this one?
Okay, so we were watching, if you're familiar, we were watching tactical reload videos on YouTube, so we were watching a compilation of those, and the guy reloaded a toaster, and we noticed the spring action was like perfect, like tension release for a golf game. So then from there we just built the game around it.
I mean, I was going to say, like, what gives you the creativity to come up with an idea like that?
Well, it's a dumb luck, I suppose.
I mean, that's why you're a game designer and I'm not, right? Is that you can come up with ideas like that?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's just like the intuition to know like when something might feel great and then go for it. Like find the fun.
How does it feel to play golf using this toaster as opposed to using a game controller?
It's like night and day.
It is a completely different feeling because we worked really hard on getting replacing springs from the toaster and like getting the different power levels on the toaster to try to match it. So we've worked really hard on just like the tactical experience on the toaster. So it would not be the same game without it.
So you actually did mod the toaster to make it more golf compatible?
Yes, we did. We messed around with a few different screws, a few different springs, and then, yeah.
So you're adjusting both the toast darkness and using the spring?
Yes.
So it's a knob and spring combination?
Mm-hmm, yes.
All right, well, we've talked about it long enough that I think we need to show it. So we're going to come over here and see how our player is using a toaster to play golf. Now, in fairness, it looks like we're playing golf with a fish right now.
You are.
We're actually a golf ball usually, but I mean, there's no saying I couldn't play golf with a fish.
The golf ball just wouldn't fit in the toaster, really, and the fish just feels a lot more natural.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of like an organic.
Yeah. Trying to get it into the
I mean, by definition, a fish is more organic than a golf ball.
It is, actually. Nice little punch in the back.
There you go.
It is challenging. This is our last and hardest level. We do have have some exploits that you can't go for. Is that one?
Did you make this?
Yes. Yeah, I made the toaster. Marcus did programming and some level design, and it helped with a lot. Marcus did a lot of it. Yes. Nice shot. Perfect.
Cheesed it. All right. If the engine allows it, it's not cheating, right?
Exactly.
Where's the hole?
The sink is over by the end, over there. So you're gonna go straight to the end and to the left.
It's back there.
Yeah, back there. You can kind of see like the gray top of this mountain.
Yeah, I need to get
How's this working out for you?
pretty good.
Touch controls. Yes.
That was a good one. Honestly, yeah.
Well,
Oh
no!
Oh,
the wind hits me on the ground.
As your caddy, I'm gonna say maybe angle it to the right and then go over this large gap. Is that you can easily?
So it looks like we're using the knob on the toaster to aim, and the spring on the toaster to release.
Yeah, there's a power bar. So how far I'm gonna.
Oh, it's a power bar. There we go. So direction and power.
Let's go.
Thank you, Fish Jesus.
Thank you so much for playing.
Nice. Golf with a toaster, flinging fish. Thank you guys. Gilliam's great escape with this toaster here as the game controller here at the Alt Control exhibition at GDC 2023, the Game Developers Conference here at the Moscone Center in San Francisco. And we're going to keep moving because this convention is still going on. A little while ago, we saw this game. And this is a log chopping game. If you ever dreamed of being a lumberjack, you can make those dreams come true here at GDC. Because why on earth would you ever want to use a mouse or a keyboard to chop logs when you could do it with a real hatchet? All while using your foot to kick raccoons out of the way. Are you involved with the making of this game?
I am involved.
Fantastic. What is this game and how did it come about?
So this game is called Stumped, which is basically a really arcadey kind of wood chopping game. This was originally developed for a game jam at Sheridan College back in Canada. And one of our profs recommended that we bring it to GDC, and we signed up and we made our awesome game that you can see right here.
Now, when you decide to go with an alternative controller, that's a whole can of worms, isn't it?
It definitely is, yeah.
And was that the theme of this game jam? Did you have to build an alt control?
It was.
So what are the challenges involved with, first you have to build a game, but you also got to build a controller.
Well, first is just concepting, definitely. When you go to a different kind of controller, there's so many different possibilities that you can really do. And it all kind of involves around making that real action of what you're doing within your game feel good. And we thought that a downward just hit of wood just felt awesome to do, and the more we worked on it, the more it just felt amazing to do. And it's just really broad, and if you can get it right, it's awesome.
Now, I see this game, I see somebody with something in their hand that has a handle hitting things. I think whack-a-mole. Was that an inspiration at all?
That definitely was. We went for a really, really arcadey style. So stuff like that, definitely whack-a-mole was one of our big things. We just have that kind of arcadey, almost carnival feeling to our game.
Carnival game, arcade game. Do you see this being in arcades one day?
Maybe. If we can keep iterating on it, we've still got tons of ideas that we could definitely put into this game. And this has basically become a very big passion project for us.
What makes this more satisfying than chopping logs without a hatchet in your hand?
Well, definitely just the feeling of having it in your hand and the sound as well of hitting it against it, I think just makes it a lot more interactive, makes it feel like you really are like a lumberjack in this little arcadey world that we have.
So you actually took care to make it sound like wood?
Yeah. We originally it was just made out of cardboard, which definitely was not robust enough to survive something like Alt Control GDC. So we knew that we needed like a not too thick, but definitely a robust kind of wood that made a nice, satisfying chopping sound.
So there is actually wood, and you're hitting it, but hopefully you're not breaking it because it's got to last at least a few more hours.
Yes, it does. So it hasn't broken yet. So fingers crossed.
Thank you so much. The game is Stumped, STUMP''D, here at Alt Control at GDC. And hey, what's on all the sticky notes?
Whenever anybody comes by, we give them the opportunity to just make a little sticky note if they want to either give feedback or make a little drawing. And over the past couple of days, it's really filled up.
Somebody drew a really elaborate raccoon there. I got to get a close-up of that. That is... Does the raccoon have a name, by the way?
His name is Borf, actually.
Say what?
His name is Borf, B-O-R-F.
Borf.
board.
How'd you get that name?
We just kind of something funny that we came up with during the early design process. And
If he had a voice, it could be an acronym for Voice of Raccoon Friend.
I guess so, yeah.
Vorf. Vorf the raccoon, and that's the raccoon from the game, I see. All right, Stumped, thank you so much. We'll get one more shot of this. There is, I've been informed that it's one of the bigger controllers that is available here, and it is a plywood shopping cart. We'll have a look at the plywood shopping cart here. And this is a shopping cart simulator, I am told. With a human being in the shopping cart and a human being pushing the shopping cart.
This is my son. He's shopping with me.
What's it like shopping with your dad?
Go punch him. Yeah. I gotta punch customers.
You gotta punch customers?
Yeah, of course.
Punch him, punch him. Oh, he knocked him down. Get out of my way. Get out of my way, I have shopping to do. Boom. You are wreaking havoc in this grocery store right now. Is it satisfying?
Oh yeah.
It's like one part motorcycle, one part grocery cart with those handlebars. And I believe these rope handles are used to pull things off of the grocery store shelves, if I properly understand the description that was given to me yesterday.
Yeah.
And is one of you guys on the development team?
What is it? Yeah.
Are you on the development team for this game?
Of course, yeah.
Awesome, Ken. I'm live streaming right now. I just wonder if you could describe what this game is and how it came to be.
It's a grocery trip, so you are in the mall and you have to make like your shopping in 3 minutes. So you have to grab everything and to fight with the other customer because you want to go fast. And the idea was during the COVID, when everyone wants to get the toilet paper and everything, we want to fight with everyone, so we made it real.
So the battle over toilet paper in the grocery store, that was the reality from which this game came.
Exactly, yeah.
And, and what is the experience like of playing this game with a shopping cart as a controller?
Yeah, it's like the dream of everyone. When we was kids, we want to take the candy, take the crisp. So we make it real. Like even if you are adult now, we are the kids inside the shopping cart. So that's really fun to be on it.
And so I mean, you could play this game with a PC controller, but you'd be missing out on all the fun.
Yeah, you miss everything. Like it not fun with because you want to have this feeling to punch everyone and to grab the thing and to drive it like. Go faster, it's really fun.
You actually throw punches in this game.
What do you say?
You actually throw punches with your fist.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Do you get out a lot of aggression that way?
A bit. It looks a bit like a torture game, so...
It does look a little like a torture game,
yeah,
but it's not a torture game.
No, but grocery is a torture, so...
Groceries are torture, it's so true.
So, it's like the real game.
Grocery Trip is the name of the game. Yeah, Thank you so much, and here we have another pair of players. So it's you have to have two players to play this game. It's a cooperative game.
Always two players, yeah.
Always two players.
The kid and the father or the mother.
The kid, okay, so how do you decide who's going to be the kid?
It depends. It depends. Some colleagues fight to be the kids. It depends, yeah.
People like to be the kid because you get to punch.
Yeah, of course. They like.
So the kid does the punching. It's deniability for the parent because the kid is the one who is committing the assault crimes. Those pads are the punch sensors right there. You can see they're steering through the grocery store, knocking down anybody who gets in their way. It is Grocery Trip at Alt Control here at GDC 2023. Thank you guys very much for your time. Here on Friday, the final day of the exhibition here at GDC, the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. the biggest one since 2019, because the Game Developers Conference did not happen in 2020. It was one of the first major events to be canceled. Now it is back. It is getting back on its feet and dressing up for the first time in this giant two-person hat that, as you can see, is suspended by steel safety cables from the ceiling of the North Hall of the Moscone Center. This is a cooperative game control. Saw this first on Wednesday. It's hard to miss because it's so big. And as you can see, it's a game where you have two people inhabiting one giant hat. There is a feather in the hat. The designer's mother suggested the feather, from what I understand. Little family play testing and feedback. And both people have to use their heads and their hands to steer the main character using this one giant hat. Pick things up, not spill the coffee. There's the main character right there. I understand the main character is actually an alien in disguise in a human suit, being steered by other aliens. You can see they're wearing head covers for sanitation because safety is always first. And they have to work together and talk to each other because anytime one player moves, it forces the other player to move too.
Oh, no. All right, left.
Is this a random city or is this based off of a set?
Random city. Thank you, Unity Assets.
Can you tell the live stream audience about your game real quick?
Sure. My name is Aaron Truthdell. This is a game where you use a gigantic hat to drive an alien pretending to be a human around a cityscape so he can gain power among the business people and conquer the world.
How'd you come up with the idea to make the controller a giant hat?
I study weird and collaborative controllers, and one of the ways that we can build controllers to be collaborative is by making something that is big and wearable and shared. I took some inspiration from a group of people who did a 3-player poncho a while back.
How do you play in a 3-player poncho?
Oh, there are balance boards, there are maracas involved, you have to hold hands with people. It's a really great project. It's called Ola de la Vida, if anyone wants to go check it out.
It sounds fantastic.
But I was really excited by the way we could force people to share and come together. It's been really great watching people make friends in line as they find someone to play with and get to know folks. It's a hat that's also a networking opportunity.
When you have two people who've never known each other before get under this hat, what's the kind of communication you hear happening between them?
That really depends. We've had people come in and not talk to each other at all. They don't tend to do the game very fast. And then we have people who make friends in line and now they have a new friend.
So talking to somebody for even just a minute before you get under that hat together, that's actually very important.
It's huge, especially because people use that to build up their strategy time. We've got a bit of a speed running competition going. And so if they want to figure out where they're going and how they're going to tackle this problem, they're going to need a minute to look at what the previous team is doing and get it planned out.
And so what is the secret to success in this game?
You got to walk in the road. We don't have any cars, and the pedestrians can knock over your coffee. So you gotta walk in the road.
You just told us the secret.
It's true. I don't know if it's gonna help.
Is the advanced level gonna end up having cars?
I think if I put cars in this game, someone might actually punch me because it's too hard.
So it's already a very difficult game.
After you get that coffee, if you spill it, that's like 2 full minutes of heavy lifting down the drain that you have to repeat.
So it is truly game over if you spill the coffee.
A little bit. You're definitely not making our leaderboard.
This sounds like real life to me because I am always trying to carry my camera gear and not spill my coffee.
That's true. It's getting your coffee is one of the hardest parts of being human, and that's one of the things that Zorg the Infiltrator is learning today.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. The game is Haberdasher. We'll get one more shot of these players playing it. What do you guys think of the game?
It's pretty hard. It's really hard. My arms are tired. Move to the right. I want to try to stay on the road so that we don't have any NPCs in our way.
There it is, Haberdasher at Alt Control GDC. Now we've run into a predictable problem here in the Moscone Center at GDC 2023, and that is that we're running low on camera batteries. So I am going to change the battery in this camera, and if the live stream survives the camera battery change, we'll take one more walk through the convention hall before we say goodbye. If the camera does not survive the battery change, then it's been nice talking to you, and we'll see you online again soon. But I'm going to go ahead and change out the battery, and if it survives, we will continue walking around. And here we are, just about the 1 hour mark of our live stream at Alt Control GDC, the Game Developers Conference, with a fresh new battery at 100% here at the Moscone Center in San Francisco, streaming live from the Game Developers Conference, the biggest one since 2019. Thanks for staying with us through that battery change. Sometimes Facebook continues streaming and Twitter doesn't. Not sure what YouTube does. But if you are still watching this stream, thanks for staying with us. And please give me some questions and comments in the chat. I will do my very best to answer all of them. Here we have some conference associates waving at us. In many cases, if you're willing to wear one of those shirts and volunteer for 20 hours a week, you get the other 20 hours a week to attend the conference. We're currently in the north lobby of the Moscone Center. It's easy to get disoriented though, because this lobby is now sort of directly connected to the central hall. I'm going to check my stream status and see which channels are still streaming, and it looks like they all are. We'll see if that's true or not. And as previously discussed, we'll adjust our color temperature for the shifting light between the north and the south halves of the building. As you can see, there's a lot of real estate to be covered. You really get your steps in at this conference. Although you may want to work out in the morning to clear your head, you'll get plenty of workout just cruising the floor at GDC. Directly to our right, that's the central hall that we were just in. And if we're lucky, we can go upstairs and see some of the hubbub happening in the lobby. Because as I came in today, it was clear there were a lot of people here lining up with their resumes and portfolios, eager to apply for jobs. This is where people are having lunch, as you can see. Sit down with a stranger and have some lunch. The funny part of this is these lunch tables are nowhere near the places where lunch is actually purchased. So you end up having to do a sort of a balancing act, carrying your lunch over to the tables on the other side of the staircase. There again, the South Convention Hall, where all of the largest, tallest exhibits are. We'll zoom in and get one more look at that. Including the Epic Games booth back there with the Unreal Engine stage. Rosie says, keep up the good work. Good morning. Oh, you're in the Philippines. That's fantastic. How is life in the Philippines? And are you a game developer? Are you a game player? As we ascend the massive escalator here in the Moscone Center. Getting back up to street level. We've been underground this whole time, streaming thanks to the technology of bidirectional cellular amplifiers, and now we're seeing sunlight for the first time in a minute. So this is the lobby. This is where conference registration was. This is the area that was packed with people lined up for 2 solid days to get their badges and their little plastic bracelets that indicate that they have either passed a negative COVID test or shown their vaccination card. And here is the first thing that you see when you walk into GDC 2023. You see an exhibit by one of the sponsors, Bobka. There's Bobka right there. Hi, Bobka. I hear you have a pretty cool cat. Oh, but the cat is in its cat bed, chilling in its cat bed.
Nushi is currently taking a little cat nap, but Bobka would love to meet you. Come say hello.
Bobka, say hi to the live streaming audience.
Bobka likes her moves.
Yeah, Bobka's quite the dancer.
Indeed so.
And what are all these things on Bobka's belt? That almost looks like a bat belt.
Well, yes, she never leaves without her orbs.
Orbs, okay.
Yes. She has got many different types of mysterious orbs used for different purposes. Let's see what else we got here. We have the scrolls that you can see here. Those are revenue sharing smart contracts.
Ooh, revenue sharing smart contracts.
Yes, so Bobka is not just here to help game developers make games, but also be rewarded fairly for the games that they contribute to making. So revenue share contracts are something which Bobka brings to help creators earn their fair share of revenue on their creations.
And what made you want to get this message out to developers in such a playful way?
You know, we want to celebrate game developers. They've come here because the developers, game developers and makers are her heroes. They're the real influencers. You know, they may not get a lot of the attention. They may work behind the scenes, but they are the real influencers who are affecting our culture and spreading our culture. And so that's really why she's here to celebrate in a playful way, take selfies, to dance with her friends, because she does love to get down and dance.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And her entourage is always well dressed, it looks like.
Well, yes, she's got style. She's got style, and you'll see more of her style over time.
You said she's launching her own social pages.
Yes, so yeah, she has gone live in the last 24 hours. So yes, Bobka's gone. Sorry, excuse me. Been a lot going on. These characters have introduced themselves. All their socials are fresh. Were just started and spinning up last week. They're still getting to figure out how to use them, but you can find them at yo_Bobka and yo_Nushi, wherever's clever. Twitch, TikTok. Right now, Bobka and Nushi are in fact trending on TikTok.
Huh.
They've gotten their first 10,000 followers in the last 24 hours. So they're very excited by this.
And I'm assuming this is not the last major event that we'll see Bobka and Nushi at.
Indeed, no. They are planning to bring this red carpet around the world.
It's
to celebrate game developers.
Kind of a burgundy carpet, huh?
You know, she doesn't like the bright red. She wanted something a little bit richer. We had to be very specific about the stanchions. She had very specific desires about the stanchions that we bring. This, you know, was... They commissioned us to do this and set everything up according to their specifications.
You're just working for them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, well, get a good look. You saw her here first. Here's Bobka. She just launched her social media, and she is going to become a force to be reckoned with in the TikTok universe.
And I must say one more thing. She hasn't said much because these bodies, they can't speak much yet, neither knew she. But I have heard her muttering under her breath, wallet, keychain, backpack, wallet, keychain, backpack, wallet, keychain, backpack. We're not sure what it means yet, but if you follow them on the socials, they are giving away gifts, including a robotic quadruped that this was built on. Similar version.
You could have your own robotic quadruped.
You can fur your own robotic quadruped by following at yo_Bobka.
I don't know what I would do with it, but I think I'd be the envy of all my friends. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bobka and Nushi here in the lobby at the Game Developers Conference. We'll give you a look at the giant LED wall right here. Sponsored, of course, by Epic Games' Unreal Engine and also by Unity. There's conference registration. Finally, for the first time all week, there is no line at conference registration because it is the last day of the conference. So we'll head back down the escalator now to the expo hall, where we will have basically completed a full revolution around the Game Developers Conference as we head into the final hour of the conference. And as you can see, still phenomenally crowded here at the Moscone Center, in part because of that Friday-only exhibits pass aimed at students and job seekers for their largest opportunity to connect with folks in the industry in about 4 years. Already advertising future events, the GDC Showcase in June and next year's GDC in March 2024. The signs are already up, telling people book their flights, book their hotels. This conference is going to be back next year. Walking back past the Unity and Epic Games booths. As people get in those last bits of networking, demo those last games, get those last pictures, because the Game Developers Conference is about to be history within the next hour or so. And here we'll put the camera back on the tripod and come back on camera for just a moment to thank you for joining me on this trip around the Moscone Center. I haven't checked my step counter, but I can pretty much assure you that I've gotten my workout for the day. You generally walk miles at these things and you see all sorts of cool things all packed into a relatively small space. So thanks for joining on the live stream. We will have more content from the Game Developers Conference, including Nushi. You will see Nushi fully charged and walking around the lobby, in fact chasing a laser pointer in the video that we're going to have coming up in the next few days on NBCBayArea.com. Of course, please share this with your friends. You can watch the replay as many times as you want. We want to hear from you, and we'll be seeing you online sooner than later.